Hello and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new here. Today I'll be doing a reading vlog of Iron Flame. If you have not seen my reading vlog of Fourth Wing, the first book, I do have it on my channel. So you may want to watch that first before watching my vlog for this book, the sequel, just to let you know. But of course you're free to just watch my reading vlog to this book if you want. The only thing that I am going to mention that is important in this intro is that I will be talking about spoilers that happen in Iron Flame. So if you have not read this book yet and you do not want to be spoiled, I would recommend not to watch this video because you will be spoiled. Other than that, I think that's all I want to say. I hope you guys enjoy this reading vlog and let's get right into it. Hello, so it is day 7. Not much to report, honestly, because yesterday I only read like 20 pages of Iron Flame. So that is like not good. I barely read yesterday, but like I had mentioned yesterday, I just had a busy day with filming. I finished filming my January wrap-up video, then I read for a little bit. But then I was like, you know what, I need to edit my video, and editing for this video took forever, as I knew it was going to, because it's like a over half-hour long video, so that took forever. And when I did finally like sit down to read, I for some reason could not keep my focus. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to have to be content with only reading like 20 pages today. So yeah, that's okay though. I am going to try to catch up today. The reason why I'm so adamant about reading 100 pages a day is because I want to finish reading the entire series so far before I go see my brother in the middle of this month, because I don't want to have to, for one, lug a big book on my trip there. Like, I don't want to have to make room for it in my carry-on bag for my flight. So that's one reason why. And another reason is because I don't want to be vlogging while I'm on this trip. I just don't want to focus on making content while I'm trying to visit my brother. So that's another reason why. So I need to read like about 100 pages a day in order to finish these books in time for when my trip comes. So I do need to actually catch up on the amount of pages that I need to get through. So I'm going to try to read 200 pages a day. If that doesn't happen, then that's okay. Like, I'll catch up at some point. But we'll just see how it goes. Not much has happened, obviously, because I've only read, the first 3 chapters. But right now, Violet is learning more about the plans for the revolution from her brother. She's been talking to him, and he's keeping some stuff from her. Both him and Xaden are still keeping stuff from her because she's at risk for getting her memories read by Dane, and that is something they do not want. So she's still left in the dark with some things, and because this book is written in her point of view, like, we're going to be kept in the dark about some things. So there's still a lot we don't know what's going on, so that is intense. I'm at the part right now, I think right now, because I read one chapter this morning. I am on page 31. So right now, in the last chapter I read, Xaden is still like being very secretive, and it's driving Violet crazy because she's arguing with him, saying like, you need to tell me everything, otherwise I'm not going to trust you again, and like a relationship between them is just not going to work. But he's like, I can't do it. So yeah, they're in a really rocky place right now. I'm curious to see how their relationship will improve and come past this, because obviously this is still like a romance-y, so you know, there's going to be a continual romance. I'm just wondering how Violet is going to cope with Xaden being so secretive with her. Like, eventually maybe he'll come out and just tell her everything, but we'll just have to see. So right now they're just in a very awkward place. And so graduation has arrived. Xaden and the other third years are graduating from the war college, and that's at the part where I'm at right now. Also, Andarna has grown quite a bit in the last few days, and she is now like a teenager. She's not like a little kid anymore, and it's super funny because she's like a typical adolescent. She's very moody right now. I just think that's hilarious. I love Andarna so much. She's so cute, and I'll miss reading about her as a little kid, but that's super cool that she is growing. So right now I'm in the middle of trying to get my wrap-up video up, so while that's exporting and getting ready, I'm gonna sit here right now and just read a few more pages, so we'll just see what happens next. Hey, so it is now around 5 o'clock. I have read a pretty good chunk of Iron Flame. I'm on, I think, page 70 now, and yeah, things have happened. So Xaden has left, graduation has happened, so he has to leave and go be a lieutenant, and him and Violet are allowed to see each other every 7 days. They'll like take turns traveling to see each other to appease their dragons and their bond. So at where I'm at right now, Xaden I think is just about to visit Violet, so we're about to see that. They are still like in a really weird place. The last interaction they had was super fascinating because partying had been happening after graduation, and the first years are celebrating becoming second years, so they were partying, and Violet got like really drunk, so she was kind of like all up on Xaden a little bit. She was like way more relaxed with him than she has been, and so her walls have come a little bit more down, but I think that was just because of the alcohol, and she even recognizes that. They like almost kissed, but didn't, and I'm really proud of Xaden for like pulling away, because I think that would have been taking advantage of her because she is drunk and a little more relenting. So I'm glad he actually didn't kiss her, but at the same time I'm like, I just want you guys to come back together so freaking bad. I know they will at some point, but right now it's torturous, and it's especially torturous that they're apart right now. It's kind of one of my least favorite tropes. I call it the new moon effect, referring to New Moon from the Twilight series, where the love interest in the second book in the series spends a whole chunk of it apart from the main character. It's a trope that I'm not a huge fan of, so I wonder if that's going to be in this book a lot, because Xaden has to be separated to do his lieutenant job. I don't know. And so now the first years, the new first years are coming into Basgiath, and they just went through the parapet. Of course, a huge chunk of them did not make it and they died, which is terrible. I'm sure we're going to get to know a lot of the first years who have survived, and one of the first years is Sloane, and she is Liam's younger sister. I can't wait to get to know about her more. It's really sad though, because she is furious at Violet, because Violet kind of like indirectly did cause the death of Liam, because Liam had to go with her during that war with the Venom because he's like sworn to protect her, and so she like kind of did cause his death because she was involved with the war and Liam had to stay with her. So I get why Sloane is upset with Violet because of that, but I do hope that she'll learn to forgive Violet, because really it really is not Violet's fault that Liam died at all. It's more Dane's fault. Cannot stand him right now, oh my god. But I hope Sloane will really get to see that, and I hope that the two will become close. Like, Violet swore to Liam that she is going to look after Sloane and watch out for her and be there for her, and so yeah, I hope she'll become kind of like a mentor for Sloane. I think that would be so cute. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how their relationship goes. And I think that's it. Yeah, did I mention that I really hate Dane? I really hate the guy. I feel like he is irritating me more and more. Just his like attitude is so off-putting. Oh my god, and I love that Violet like low-key just wants to kill him, but she can't. She's like, will not, but man, she hates him right now, and as she should. Oh my god, like every time he talks I'm just like, can you please just shut the hell up? I cannot stand you. All right, so I'm gonna try to read as much as I can today. I don't know if I'll make it to 200 pages, but I'll for sure try. I'm kind of trying to figure out if I want to continue reading right at this moment, but I think I will. So that's what I'm gonna do. I think I will. yeah, I'm interested to keep on reading. I'm actually really happy that this book is going so well because I was really scared to start it because I heard from other people that it was a little slower and not as good as the first book, but so far it's been pretty good. I mean, I'm only 70 pages in, so I don't know how the rest of the book is going to be, but so far it's good. So we're off to a good start. Okay, first of all, please excuse the sound of the fan. I don't want to get up to turn it off right now. I'm going to make this clip really quick, but something crazy just happened. So one of the first years, and he was kind of like he comes across as the bully type. Like he's like a lot like Jack. He like just I can't even believe it. He just snapped Nadine's neck, and she's a character who has been pretty prevalent. She's one of Violet's friends, and he just killed her. Like the scene was because the first years, excuse my cat, my god, hello, the first years are going through kind of like their I don't know what's called, I'm so frazzled right now, are like fighting each other, and Sloane is calling out Violet and being like, I want her to like fight with me. So this guy, he overhears, did you say, like he says, did you say Violet Sorengale? And then Nadine, she was like jokingly, she's joking around, she's like, yeah, and like points to her purple hair. It's like, yeah, I'm Violet. And he snaps her neck, I guess thinking she was Violet. I don't know yet why this guy wants Violet dead. I wonder if he's like related to Jack. That might be it, because he's a lot like Jack in personality. But oh my god, Nadine just died. Like, no one is safe, are they? No one is safe. Like, anyone could die. I mean, what the heck? Okay, I'm gonna keep on reading. I just like had to share my reaction to that because that was insane. Hello, so it is day 7. Still am getting through Iron Flame. I made it to page 150 around there last night, so didn't make it to 200 pages like I had planned, but still did pretty good. This morning I read a little more, actually like read pretty much the whole morning, which is great, and I made it to page 202, so we're looking pretty good. I do want to reach page 300 today. I think that'll be possible. I do have a few things that I want to do. I do want to film a video today. I think I'm going to do that later on this evening though. But even with that, I think I'll still have time to make it to page 300. We'll just see, but that is my plan. I just got done writing my review for Fourth Wing, as you just saw in my reading journal right here. So all my thoughts about Fourth Wing are jotted down so that I can refer to it when I do my February wrap-up video, so I'm glad I got that done. Right now I'm just gonna stay seated and read a little bit more, but before I get back into it, let's talk about what has happened. Honestly, not a whole lot. I will say the plot is just a little bit sluggish right now, which is fine. I feel like lately I have learned with fantasy that I just need to be patient. I know a lot of information about what's going on in fantasies has to come out gradually and slowly, and that's what's happening in this book right now. So I'm just telling myself, just be patient. We're getting this information for a reason. It'll all come together in the end. I know, because that's how most fantasy books work. So I'm practicing patience right now. But even with it being slow, like, I'm still pretty engaged. I do love the writing in this book. I think it's really easy to read, and that really helps when it comes to the slow parts. Right now what's happening is Violet just trying to figure out what is going on. Like Brennan told her in the beginning of this book, the Venin are planning to attack Navarre within 6 months, so she's trying to get information from the books in the archives that are being given to her on how to strengthen the wards, how to expand the wards beyond Navarre to protect more citizens. That's just something she's trying to figure out right now. And so we're getting a lot of scenes of her just reading these books and the information she's getting from them. She's also been hiding that she's trying to get information about the wards from Xaden, and in the recent chapters I just read, he found out that she is going behind his back and reading into these books and trying to figure out what's going on, and he's not happy about that. But I was like, you know what, boy, you have no room to talk. You've kept so many secrets from her. Like, don't be hypocritical. You guys are even now. And he eventually does recognize, oh, he's like, oh yeah, I have also kept secrets from you. Like, so I don't blame you from keeping this from me, you know? So that's good on him. Violet and Xaden are still separated a lot. And actually, who is it? Colonel Ado, Stain's dad, and this new guy who's like in command now, his name is Yarros, they have been kind of like making it so it's a lot harder for Xaden and Violet to see each other. Like at one point, Violet had to go through the first trial of the RSC, and that was happening right when Xaden came to visit Navarre again, so they couldn't see each other. And then the next time Violet went to, what's the land called? It starts with an S, but where Xaden is posted, when she went to go see him, he had to be on duty. So they've kind of been like, I think the commanders are making it intentionally impossible for us to see each other by giving us these tasks, and I think that's what's happening too. Like, they're really trying to separate them because they know that those two together are unstoppable with their powers, so they're trying to like make them distant from each other, which is irritating. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Just Xaden and Violet keeping a lot of secrets from each other, but yet they still have a lot of love for each other. And Xaden has been so noble because he told Violet, like, I will not be intimate with you unless you tell me that you love me. And I love that for him so much because I think that's so emotionally mature. Like, he does not just want to have sex with her, like he wants that emotional connection now. And it's funny because in Fourth Wing, that's what Violet wanted from him, because in Fourth Wing, Xaden was not willing to be emotionally connected to her, but he was fine with being physical when that's what Violet wanted. And now Violet wants to just be strictly physical with him, but Xaden actually wants that emotional connection along with the physical. But Violet is not willing to give the emotional connection right now because she still does not trust him, but she's like, I'm fine with being physical. So it's funny how the roles have been switched, and now they have like total switch of point of views on what the relationship should be. But I know at one point she will give in to him. Like, of course she still loves him, she's just trying to not show it because she's like, I can't love him because I can't trust him. But she's admitted to herself internally, like, she still does love him. And of course Xaden loves her too. I'm like waiting for the moment when he actually verbally tells her that he loves her. He hasn't yet, but I know at some point he will. And when that happens, I will be deceased. So hopefully that'll happen in this book. I'm sure it will. I'm sure I won't have to wait till Onyx Storm for him to finally admit out loud that he loves her, but we'll just see. Alright, so that is it. I hope I'm not leaving out any more details. I have read a ton more pages since I last updated, but yeah, that's pretty much it. It's just been kind of slow, so not a lot to report. But anyway, I'm gonna get back into this. I'm gonna read as much as I can in one sitting, and I'll update when I have more to say. It has been a while since I last put my book down. I took a long break, a very long break, so I'm gonna get back into it right now. Not much has happened since my last update in the book. However, I realized after my last update that there were some things that I did forget to mention. I knew that was gonna happen. I knew it. I'm so forgetful. I really need to write things down. So last night, you saw my update where I was losing my mind because Nadine just died, and it was like so sudden. She was killed by one of the first years because he was after Violet, and Nadine had jokingly said, oh, I'm Violet, and he killed her because of that. And so we never really know the name of this guy. He's like an unknown guy, but we do find out that he was like, I guess, hired by Dane's dad to kill Violet. So now we know that Dane's dad is trying to like kill Violet. So that is crazy. Like, the Colonel is after Violet, I guess because of suspicion that she is involved in what the revolution is doing, and the other marked students that Xaden and Violet are working with are being targeted as well. So they're all being targeted, so it's really scary. If I were Violet, I would be watching my back constantly at the college, afraid that someone is going to stab me in the back, literally. I don't know how she's not even more alert. Like, she's really chill. I would be scared to death, like constantly on edge, and she should be because she's targeted right now. So that is very scary. So that happened. Also, her friend Rhiannon is getting so much more suspicious because she knows that Violet is hiding things from her, which she is, and Rhiannon is really ripping it into Violet, like, you're hiding something, can you please just talk to me? And Violet is telling her like she can't, which of course she can't, because that puts Rhiannon in danger if she knew. But yeah, I kind of do feel bad for Violet in this situation because she's having to distance herself from her friends because she doesn't want to keep on lying to them, and she feels like being close to them now puts them in danger because she's up to dangerous and secretive stuff. I'm sure her friends are going to know what's going on eventually when this all comes out. At one point, Violet and Rhiannon were having an argument, which rarely happens, so it's really weird to see them like in conflict. But Rhiannon was stating to Violet, like, how have you become so hardened to seeing our fellow students dying? Because Violet has been trying not to let death get to her anymore, and Rhiannon can't understand that. But Violet's dialogue right here was like, oh my god, it speaks to her development so freaking much, and it just shows how much she's changed since the beginning of Fourth Wing. And I really loved what she said here. It's super sad, and I'm going to read directly what she says. So this is what she says right here. She says, and as horrible as it might be, as callous as it might make me, watching Arlie fall and Pryor burn, and even Jack Barlow get crushed under my landslide, prepared me for the moment I had to leave Liam's body on the ground and fight. If I'd sat there and mourned like I wanted to, none of us would be here. Imogen, Bodhi, Xaden, Garrick, everyone, we'd all be dead. There's a reason they want us to watch our friends die. We are the weapons, and this place is the stone they use to sharpen us. Isn't that so brutally true? It's like, that's one of the reasons why they have to go through this writer's quadrant, is to harden themselves towards death, and that's solely so that they can just survive. Like, they really don't have time to mourn. If they're like in actual combat, if one of their own dies, like, they can't just sit there and mourn in the middle of battle. They gotta keep moving. And that's something that Violet did experience, like, firsthand. When Liam died, she could not just stay there with him. She had to keep going on through the battle. It's like horrible, absolutely horrible. And it just shows how much Violet has had to harden herself and her emotions and become emotionally stronger. So I'm proud of her for that, but at the same time, it is very sad. So right now, they are still going through the RSC training, and they're in the interrogation part, and I don't know what's gonna happen here. I don't know if Violet's secret regarding Xaden and the revolution is going to come out, even though this is training. Like, it's an actual interrogation. Like, even though it's partially pretend and it's part of like a class, it's like an actual interrogation. So I don't know what's going to happen here. The concept of this college is just so weird. Like, this kind of training would never happen in real life. Like, actually torturing a student would never happen in real life. But this is a fantasy world, like, so it gets a pass, but man, it's scary. So hopefully all the second years come out in one piece. I'm nervous to see what happens. So I'm gonna continue reading right now. Before I go though, I have to talk about something crazy I just did. So I was on Facebook, and I follow a lot of book related Facebook groups, and someone posted the Korean editions of the Fourth Wing series, and I saw them, and I immediately was like, oh, I have to have those. Like, there's no question. I did not hesitate. This was a few hours ago. I bought them. They were on eBay, and I bought all 3 of them. And that is Fourth Wing, and then there's like a part 1 and part 2 of Iron Flame. And I got them because, like, look at them. I'm, of course, going to put them on the screen. Look at them. They look like they are part of a manga series with the art style. And I am, like, a huge fan of anime and manga, so these just spoke to me. I think they are so freaking stunning, and I cannot wait to have them in my hands. I will definitely be displaying them on my bookshelf. Like, I just did not hesitate. I was like, oh, I'm getting those. Like, put them in my cart. Get them to me. I need them now. They are so freaking beautiful, so I cannot wait to see them in person. Oh my god. That just goes to show how much... Like, I'm so glad I'm doing this vlog, because it just goes to show how much this series is impacting me, like, in a way I did not even expect. Like, I'm getting obsessed, and for that reason right now, I cannot wait to get back into Iron Flame. I can't believe I bought another edition of this book before I even finished it, but yeah, I did that. That's why I said I'm insane. So yeah, that was pretty cool. Anyway, I'll be back with my next update that I don't know if it'll happen tonight. If not, then I will see you tomorrow. Hi, so it is day 9, I believe. I am on page 300 of Iron Flame. So I actually last night hit my goal, my page count goal, perfectly. So I am all caught up. So that's great news. I'm gonna try to still hit that 100-page goal today. I do work today. I go into work at 4, so I'm hoping I'll be able to reach my goal before then, but if not, I'll try to read more when I come back from work. We'll just see. I'm kind of like not feeling optimistic about that. So I do want to go over some points that I have read recently. So a big one is that Jack is alive, and that threw me off so much. I was wondering, because Nolan the Mender had been like sequestered away into this room for hours, and the other students were noticing, and they were noticing that he was looking very worn out, and they're like, what's going on? And I knew like something big was going on, because that was a point that kept being brought up over and over again, that there's this room that Nolan is basically living in right now, and we find out what that was all about. He was mending Jack. I guess, like, I'm a little confused, because was Jack dead, or after all this time was he just like brutally beaten and needed to be mended? But Jack mentioned that he did see Malik, the god of death, so I'm assuming he was dead for a bit. So does that mean that menders can bring people back from the dead? I don't know, that wasn't outright stated, but that's what's kind of being implied here. So that's crazy if that is a thing. But what's even more crazier is Jack being alive. And it's really weird because he's kind of gone through a personality shift. He's a little nicer, and I'm not trusting that. I don't know if he's just putting on an act, but he's a little nicer. He even saved Violet. So Violet got ambushed by assassins hired by Colonel Atos to kill her again, and she was about to fall off. I believe she was about to fall off like a building that she was monitoring. I've been trying to say monitoring that she was monitoring for a bit, and she was about to fall off, and Jack like pulled her up and saved her. So I don't know what to think about that. And even Violet's like, wait, why did you save me? She was even baffled, even though she was glad to be alive. Yeah, so that was weird. So that was strange. So I hope we like discover more about what's up with Jack and why he's being like nicer. I don't know, maybe death, like near death, had an effect on him, and he had an epiphany being like, hey, if I have a second chance of life, maybe I need to be kinder. I don't know. I'm really confused. Next point to be made is Violet finally told all her friends about what's going on. She told them about the Venom and the Wyvern and how Navarre is not helping them. She did not tell them about Arisha or Brennan being alive or all that, because she was like, you know, that's Zayden's story to tell. That's not my place to tell them all that. But she did tell them about the Venom, the Wyvern, all that. And so now they know all that, and they know that the Venom are to attack Navarre within the next few months. And so they are now helping Violet figure out how to make the wards by locating the journals made by the initial makers of the wards. And so now they're helping her, and so she has so much more support now. And it was really great how her friends didn't attack her for keeping these secrets from them. They were just like, okay, so how can we help? Like, they're just great friends. She chose the right people to hang around. Like, they're so freaking great. And so they went after the journals. They found them in the archives, and that's the part where I'm at right now. So we're about to see like what exactly is in these journals. And I loved how Eric, the prince, the runaway prince that went into the writer's quadrant, who snuck in, who I haven't talked about at all actually, but he hasn't been like too prevalent yet. But now he is like really prevalent, because he was the only one who could get past the wards where the journals were being kept, because only royalty could get past those wards, and he's a prince, so he was able to help them. I hope we do see more of him, because his story seems very interesting. From what I remember, I feel like it was a long time ago since he was first introduced, but I believe he went into the writer's quadrant because he knows what's going on with the Wyvern and the Venom, and how his dad, who is the king, is not helping, so he's like being rebellious and wants to help more, so that's why he became a writer. So yeah, he's really interesting as well. So that is where I'm at currently. Also, Zayden and Violet are getting even closer. They did have a moment. I think it was around like chapter 23 or so. They had a moment. They got back together. They were like all up on each other, and I love that chapter so much. It was great. So yeah, I'm gonna keep reading right now for as long as I can. It's 10 in the morning now, so I have quite a bit of time to read before I have to go to work, and I'm excited. I'm just really looking forward to getting back into this. Hello, so it is day 9, I believe. Still on Iron Flame, of course. I'm so freaking tired. I went into work at 9 today, which isn't that early, but at the same time I'm still tired. I did work last night, so that might be it. Maybe I just did not get enough sleep, but I'm exhausted. And then after I got back from work, I went on a walk. I also had lunch, and I have not read yet today. I actually don't know if I am going to read at all today, because, okay, today's the Super Bowl, and I'm not much of a football person, but with it being the Chiefs playing in the Super Bowl, and with me being a Taylor Swift fan, I feel the urge to watch. This was the same story that happened last year, because the Chiefs were in the Super Bowl last year, and I did not stop watching it, and I'm usually not a football person, but I kind of want to watch it. So I think I'm gonna do that, and I might just put reading off today. If I do read today, I'll read a little bit before I go to bed if I'm feeling awake enough to do so, but I don't know. But if I don't read today, it's fine. I am going to try to catch up with the amount of pages that I need to be at to finish this book on time before I go on my trip this month. So I'll catch up. I can knock out 200 pages in one day next week. I can do it, so I'm not too worried. But anyway, let me talk about what's been happening in this book since I last updated. So the biggest thing that has happened is that I'm now at part 2 of the book, and the biggest thing that has happened is that Violet and Zayden have taken a lot of the students who are willing to go to Arisha. And so all of Violet's closest friends are there, which is, Rhiannon, Rydick, Sawyer, all of them are there with her. And Myra, Violet's sister, is there too. And it's kind of awkward because she met Brennan, who she's thought has been dead all these years, and her reaction when she first saw Brennan was so funny, but so disturbing. She punches him in the face because she was so mad that he has faked his death after all these years, which she is so obligated to feel mad. I would feel pissed too. It's just funny because I would have thought like they'd have this loving reunion, but no. Myra just punches him in the face, which was kind of deserved, honestly. Yeah, she's pissed, but I'm sure she'll like soften up after a while. Like, of course, I'm sure she's glad her brother is alive, but she has every right to feel so mad. So yeah, everyone is there. Everyone's in Arisha, and Violet is trying to get the ward stone there to work. That is her biggest priority right now. And the king of a land I don't remember the name of. It's like, I think it's like his name is Viscount something. He has a luminary that can power the ward stone, and so she has gone to where the king is and is hoping to get the luminary. Xaden doesn't know she's gone because he's against it, because the king wants to possibly use her for her signet, and so he's afraid that she's going to be held captive there by the king. And so Xaden does not want her to go, but she goes, and it's very awkward because when she gets there, Xaden is there, and that's the part where I left off right now. She has ran into Xaden there, and he does not look happy. And I left off right after that cliffhanger last night. I wanted to read more, but I really, really needed to go to bed. I was so tired, so that's where I'm at right now. So I am curious what's going to happen when they meet the king, and if they'll be able to power the ward stone. They did try to power it by the 6 best riders using their blood, trying to power the ward stone with their blood, since that's what was said, and I believe it was Warwick's journal, but that didn't work, and I knew it wasn't going to work because I was thinking it could not be this easy. We still have so much more of the book left. It could not just come to a whole conclusion this easily, so I knew that wasn't going to work. So we'll see if it does work eventually. And that's about it. I really hope I'm not forgetting anything, but my mind is just mush. I'm so exhausted. I think I'm not forgetting anything. Those were just the like biggest things that happened. So yeah, again, I'll try to read today, but no promises. All right, so I guess that's all for me. I will update you once I have read a little bit more of this book. Hello, so I believe it is day 11. I feel like I've been mixing the days up. I think yesterday I said it was day 9, so who knows what day it is. I think it's 11 though. My reading has been going great content-wise. Oh my god, just this series is gonna mean everything to me. I just know it. Progress-wise is questionable. So last night I did not meet my page count goal. I think it was off actually only by, let's see, what page am I on? Let me see. I did read a little bit more this morning. Right now I'm on page 473. Okay, so I'm only off by my page count goal from yesterday by like 25 pages, so not too bad. I was hoping to finish this book today. I don't know if that's going to happen. It's possible, but I don't know if it's going to happen because we have, what, 620 something pages in this book, so I'd have to read like about 150 pages tonight. And right now it's 8 o'clock and I need to be in bed by at least midnight, so 4 hours. Can I read 150 pages in 4 hours? I don't know. I'm such a slow reader. I have no idea. But I will at least try to read as much as I possibly can tonight. The rest of the night is just going to be dedicated to reading before I go to bed. So let's see just how much I get done. I hope it's a lot. Oh, my cat wants in. Let's go get my cat. He's at the door. He's like banging on it. Let's see. There he is. There he is. I don't know if you saw him. He just zoomed in. Hey. Hello. You gonna keep me company while I read? Huh, Deku? He's like, okay, I think he just wants to lay on the bed. So anyway, I'm super buzzed right now. I just had a buzz ball, and hello. It is so obvious why they're called buzz balls, because I mean, I'm buzzed. I only had one, but the alcohol content in them is like 15%, which is a lot. So I can only have one. Like I can feel my face. It is super flushed, and when I like drink a lot of alcohol, my face will turn red and will feel like really hot. So yeah, I'm a little buzzed right now. I guess I don't know if I should apologize for that. I'm just buzzed. Anyway, let's talk about what has happened in this book since I last updated. So when I last left off, Violet had just entered the I think it's Cryandor, where the Viscount Takaris is trying to get the luminary from him, and Xaden was super upset that she followed him there. And I found this interesting because Xaden is being very overprotective, and that was a trait he never showed towards Violet before. And I was thinking during this part that he just sounds a lot like Dane, because Dane was super overprotective, still is, of Violet, whereas Xaden has always understood that she is able to hold her own, and she's overall just a strong enough person to take care of herself, and I've always loved him for that. But in this part right here, he is just very overprotective. And it's funny because I was thinking, he's being a lot like Dane, and then at the end of this scene right here, the last thing that Violet says to him is, "You sound a lot like Dane." And I thought that was so funny because that was exactly what I was thinking. So she also recognizes that he just sounds a lot like Dane, which he does. I think it's just something, that's what love does to you. It just makes you so much more overprotective of the person you're with, because before, when Xaden recognized that she could hold her own, he wasn't in love with her then. But now that he is, of course he's gonna feel that like need to protect her. It's funny because that's just like a side effect of love, and it's not always a good trait to have, to be super overprotective of the person you love, but it's something that comes along with love. So that's kind of what I gather what's going on right here. But he does apologize for being super overprotective of her, and he's like, you know what, I understand that you're a strong enough woman to be able to hold your own, and he did apologize for it, which was really great of him. I can't say the same for Dane. He's just always super overprotective, but at least Xaden recognized that he should kind of just let her do her thing. So now the Gryffindor, I just said Gryffindor. Is this Harry Potter? Oh my god, the Gryphon Riders. Like I said, I am super drunk. I don't know what I'm saying. But Violet and Xaden have taken the Gryphon Riders back to Tyrandor, and they're going to train them. So I'm really excited to see more of the Gryphon Riders and know more about them. The journey taking the Gryphon Riders back to Tyrandor was super scary. So one of the Gryphon Riders actually died because she fell from a cliff, and Violet tried to save her, but she fell anyways. That was super sad. I really felt for her. And when a Gryphon Rider dies, their Gryphon dies. So this girl's Gryphon died, and that was also super sad. So that was a really intense scene, and Rydick got hit by a booby trap full of arrows, and that scared me. If any of the super main characters die, I will shit myself. None of them better die in this series. I will be super upset. So when Rydick got really seriously injured, I was shaking, but Brennan was there to mend him, so that is good. Oh my god, that was so intense. So now they're back in Tyrandor, and one of the Gryphon riders is Kat, and she actually is Xaden's ex. So this whole dynamic that she has with Violet is super interesting. They actually got in a fighting challenge, and it's just super funny because the background to their challenge, the reason why Kat is fighting Violet is just over Xaden. She cannot stand Violet because she is with Xaden. It's just super funny because the reason they're having this battle challenge is just over boy drama. It's super funny because the tone of the series is so serious in regards to the challenges, especially the fighting challenges that happen between the characters. And it's just funny that the reason these two are fighting is over Xaden, over boy drama. It's like, why? It's so freaking silly. But Kat, oh my god, is so freaking ruthless. I'm like, girl, just let it go. Xaden does not want you. Just move on and leave Violet alone. And I think it's really cool that she can amplify emotions. That's her like signet. So she makes Violet feel so many intense emotions when she's fighting with her. And Violet's main emotions when it comes to Kat is anger and envy. So when they were fighting, Violet was just like furious with jealousy, and it was super chaotic to see her like that. Like, she was just unhinged, and she like beat Kat to death. Oh my god, it was crazy. Yeah, that was a crazy scene. And one thing I realized recently is that Xaden is actually kind of like low-key a prince. Like, apparently, I guess his father was the leader of Tyrandor, so that like makes him, I guess, like some kind of prince, or at least someone in like really high upper standing. But it's interesting that Xaden never wanted to be like a leader. He just wants to be like a fighter. So he actually has pretty much no authority position. Apparently, I guess they gave the authority of Tyrandor to another province, whatever, I guess. Like I said, I'm always so bad at talking about politics in books, but yeah, so he's not actually a leader, but he is like, comes from that background. But Kat had initially wanted Xaden just for his position. Like, she never really loved him, and I kind of had a feeling that was the case before that was revealed. I just had a feeling that she only wanted him because of the position he was in. And Xaden's actually grateful for Violet because he told her, like, the reason I love you way more than I could have ever loved Kat is because you love me for me. You don't love me because you just want, like, my position and all the benefits that come with it, which is so sweet. And I believe, yeah, that's the real reason that Violet loves him. Like, she's such a good girl. Of course that would be the reason why she loved him, just for him, because he's so freaking great. And I just hate Kat for like really only using Xaden because of the position he's in. He deserves so much more than that. I'm so glad he left her behind. And I guess that's it. I think that's all that has happened. I feel like the last like 100 pages are going to be insane because I've heard that they are insane. I know this book leaves off on a cliffhanger, so I know it's going to be insane. I really want to finish it tonight. We'll just see. I really hope I can. I've been dying to get back into this though today. I did work today, and it's been like torturous because all day I've just been like, I want to get back to my book so bad. I love this series so freaking much. I know that when I finish Onyx Storm, I'm just going to be gushing about this series so much. Anyway, I'm gonna leave. I feel like I'm in no position to do an update right now because my mind is mush and my mind is buzzed. So I'm just gonna relax and hope I can focus and read this. So, okay, I'm gonna go. I'll be back as soon as I can. Hello, it is now day 11, 12. I don't even know anymore. Let's just stop counting days because I just have no idea. But I am still on Iron Flame. I did not finish it last night as I thought I probably was not going to, but that is okay. I think I'm on page around 520. So I have like 100 pages left in this book. I can totally finish it today. Right now it is almost 5. So yeah, I could finish it today. I don't have to work tomorrow, so I don't need to go to bed early. I don't have to get up early tomorrow. It's totally doable. And I'm really excited to finish this today because, like what I said, I hear this ending is chaotic, and I'm up for some chaos. I'm up for some intensity, so I'm really excited to see how this book ends. Of course, I'm going to talk about what happened since the last time I updated. So they were going on, I guess you would call it like a quest or a task at least, for their schooling, because it feels weird that they're still like doing their classes at Arisha, but they're still going through dragon school. So their one task right now was to seek out I believe the wards. And so they were put into teams, and Violet's team went into this cave in search of it. And crazy enough, Solus, which was, or Solas, however you pronounce it, he was the way I'm forgetting names right now, Varish. That was Varish's dragon, who Varish died because Violet killed him earlier. So Solas came to the cave, coming after Violet, of course, because she killed his rider. And in the process, Solus hit Vicia, who was one of the first years, and killed her. So that was really awful. We have another death that happened. Even though she was a pretty minor character, we haven't been with her a whole lot. This cat, oh my god, excuse him. We hadn't been with her a whole lot. Like, of course, her death still, like, was really sad. So that sucked. And also, Sloane, Liam's little sister, who we've gotten to know more, her signet manifested, and I believe she does something. What was it again? Now remember, she is a siphon, and that means that she can take people's powers and use them for herself. So I can see that being a very useful power, and I'm really like proud of her for her power finally manifesting, because I know that's something that the first years they have to wait a while before the signet actually shows up. That's something that Violet had to go through. So yeah, that's pretty awesome. I wonder if we'll at some point see her like really use her signet. So Solus was taken down and killed. So that's good, because he was one of the dragons we just did not want to see around anymore. He was very problematic. And Andarna actually took out Solus because she was with them, which was so impressive for that once tiny little dragon to take out a whole other dragon. Oh my god, I was so proud of her. I'm glad she got her moment. So now I'm at a part that is super fascinating, and it has to do with Xaden. So it's come to light, if a dragon rider's dragon has bonded with members of their direct family before, then they will develop a second signet. And since Scale was bonded to Xaden's grandfather, that means that Xaden has a second signet. And this was mind-blowing, because this just recently came to light that this can happen. And all this time, we did not know that Xaden had a second signet, but he does. So Violet is like, what is your second signet? And he is being very evasive toward the question, and he actually like goes pale when she asks him. So that clued us in that his second signet has to be really bad. Like so bad that he cannot tell anyone. And when he started being very evasive towards Violet asking him, what is your second signet, I had a theory that his second power was that he was in Intiznik. I have recorded myself saying Intiznik several times, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. But Intiznik, we'll go with that. And we knew from the last book that a first year had manifested an Intiznik power, and he was killed over it, because Intizniks, they have to be killed because they're able to read minds. And so the college does not want them peering into like professors' minds or generals' minds, because they could come across some information that they are not supposed to know. And so the Intizniks have to be like executed on the spot right when it's known that they are an Intiznik. And so that's why Xaden could never tell anyone about the fact that he is an Intiznik. An Intiznik. God. He could not tell anyone because they would have killed him. And so yeah, Violet figures out that he is an Intiznik, and she is really upset that he kept that from her, which like I said, I understood why, because he really like could not tell anyone. No one knows about his second signet. And it turns out there's different variations of an Intiznik power. So the variation that he has is that he can read intentions. So he can pretty much instantly know a person's character. And this made so much sense, because he is constantly trying to move people to do the things that he wants them to do for him. Like, why? I can't believe I never thought about this before. It's so obvious why he has this whole team behind him in regards to the revolution. Because if you think about it, like, how willing would all the other children of the rebellious parents be to actually participate in the revolution, because of course it's dangerous and risky. Like, he would have had to find ways to manipulate them in order to do what he wants. And so because he can instantly know a person's intentions and character, he's able to easily sway them to do what he wants because he knows their intentions and how they're going to react. So like, he's been able to manipulate all these people with his by using his power. So that made so much freaking sense. But I never would have guessed that he would have had a second signet, so I never would have theorized that, hey, he's able to manipulate people easily because he can pretty much read their minds, or at least read their character. So that was super fascinating about him. But Violet is furious that he has kept this secret from her, and she also worries that the reason that she loves him is that she was manipulated by him because he's able to read like her intentions, her character, so he was able to become someone that she would have gravitated towards. I don't believe that's the case. I think that Violet is strong enough on her own that she would realize that maybe at some point her love for him wasn't real, but it obviously is. So I don't believe that he ever manipulated her into loving him. And he admits, like, he tells her point blank, like, no, I'd never use my power to make you love me. I would never do that. And I believe him. But I think besides that point, she has every right to be mad at him for keeping this secret. I am just at this point right now where I am getting so sick of Xaden being so secretive. Like, please just tell Violet everything. How do you expect her to love you, to continue loving you, when you're keeping all these secrets? Like, she has stated, like, I don't know who you really are because you just don't tell me anything. Like, he just has to let it all out there. No more secrets, please. I hope that in Onyx Storm, all the secrets will be gone and he will be open, because I am sick of it. Man, she does not deserve this. And I love Xaden so much. There's so many great things to love about him, but the secrets, they have to stop, please. I'm over it. I'm over it so freaking much. I don't know how their relationship can continue if Violet keeps finding out that he just keeps piling on secret after secret and not telling her things. I'm done with it. I'll probably be back with another clip today. I think I do want to film my reaction to at least the last 5 or so pages, because I know this book leaves off on a cliffhanger. So I definitely want to talk about what's going to happen at the end of this book, and maybe I'll do like a little reaction while I'm reading it, kind of like how I did with Fourth Wing when I first read it last year, how I filmed my reaction to like the last page. So I'm going to continue reading right now. And yeah, really looking forward to seeing how this ends. Also, definitely should mention, I'm also at the part where they got the ward stone to work by the like 6 most powerful dragons breathing fire onto it. So that's up as well. And it looks like the wyvern have moved closer to Arisha, so there could be a battle coming on. So that's where I'm at right now. Hi, so I'm on page 573, so I have like 50 pages left. I'm almost there, finally. I am definitely feeling the length of this book now, sadly, and it's not really a good thing I have to say. I feel like a lot of this book has been, like, as usual, middle of series fantasy books are. It has felt slow at times. There's been times where I'm like, okay, let's move on along a little faster. But I feel like in the beginning of this book and a little bit towards the middle, I have been showing a lot of patience. I'm just like, you know what? I'll just be patient. We can linger here for a little while. It's all good. But I feel like with the third act now, the slower parts are just starting to get really draining, and I just want to get to the end of the book so badly. I'm really feeling its length now. I'm starting to zone out a lot, so that's not good. But I think I'm at a part now where it's going to start picking up, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, let me talk about everything I've read so far, what is happening. Because although it feels a little slow, there is stuff happening. So the first thing I have to mention is Violet's mom has now seen Brennan and knows that he is alive. And Brennan's attitude toward his mom was so ruthless. Basically, the General Milgren and Violet's mom and a few other, I don't know, people higher ups or whatever, I don't know who they are. They were meeting with Violet and Xaden and a few others about coming to them, asking that they help them in the incoming war between the Venin and Wyvern that is going to happen. And some of them, besides Violet, because she is actually all for helping them, some of them are like, no, because you didn't help us. Like, you only kept the wards for yourself. You didn't help us, so why would we help you? Which is valid. Violet actually wants to help because of the fact that the Navarre is her home and she knows a lot of people there. She wants to protect the citizens there, which that is so noble of her. She is willing to help them in this war. But all the others are like, no, because you didn't help us, why would we help you? And one of those that is on that side with that opinion is Brennan. And so he's telling his mom, like, you sent your children out to die, why would we help you? And he basically tells her that and then just leaves. Like, his mom is like, oh my god, my son is alive. And he quickly says, hey, yeah, we're not helping you. Like, you pretty much sent me to my death, why would I help you? And then leaves. Like, and his mom is like it's like, what is happening? So that was actually kind of funny in a way. But yeah, so there was that. And it also turns out that the wards that Violet and everyone had developed to protect Arisha have come apart. Like, they don't work anymore. I think they worked for a few moments when the little round of Wyvern attacked them, but now they don't work anymore. So it wasn't strong enough. I don't know if at any point they're going to figure out how to actually keep the wards up, but it turns out that Warwick's journal was false and was written to throw everyone off because he only meant for the ward stone to work in Navarre. He only wanted the wards to protect Navarre and no other area. So he wrote all that to throw them off, I guess. And apparently only Lyra's journal has written the true way to make the wards. So that's what I'm gathering right now. So I feel like at some point they'll decipher Lyra's journal more and get the answer. But Jasenia has to translate it because it's written in a language that only she knows. No one else knows it. So I don't know when we're going to get any information about that, about how to actually make the wards work. This has been a really long process. Another interesting thing I have to mention, earlier I was asking, have we heard anything about Xaden's mother? And I guess we haven't, because now he tells us the background of his mother. And yeah, it was really sad, as I figured it would have been, because if he hasn't talked about his mother before, something obviously bad had to have happened with her. Apparently she's just was never really in his life. He says that she was only there in order to produce an heir for the Ryerson line, and so she was basically only tied to his father in order to be pretty much an egg donor, and that's it. She left his life when he was 10. Once he had lived long enough where he was safe and there was definitely going to be an heir, she left. So he barely knows her. And I guess when she was technically in his life, he didn't see much of her. So he basically never really had a mom. Didn't really ever have a real relationship with her. So yeah, that is sad. It's always sad when any character or anyone in real life, honestly, doesn't have one of their parents. That sucks. And so now, this is where we're getting somewhere. So Violet and Xaden and all of her closest friends and a few others have gone back to Navarre in order to defend it against the Wyvern and the Venin, of course. So they're there, they show up, and they run into Violet's mom, and Violet tells her, hey, we're gonna work with you. We're not trying to work against you. We're not here to battle you. We want to work with you and keep Navarre safe. And Violet tells her, hey, your wards are going to weaken. And Violet's mom's like, no, they're not. And she's like adamant, no, they are not. So they go and check out the Wardstone there. And when they get there, they find Bade, which is Jack's dragon, and Jack is there as well. And oh my god, this is where we find out that Jack is actually a Venin. Like, what the heck? And I feel like this was clued in a lot, and that makes so much freaking sense. Like, why did I not put this together? I'm so stupid when it comes to plot twists. I never predict anything, which is great, because that makes for a very surprising plot twist for me. But yeah, Jack is Venin, and that makes sense because he is absolutely psychotic, and the Venin are psychotic and mean and horrible, so that makes so much freaking sense. And so Jack actually kills his dragon. I figured, everything is so vague, I'm like trying to figure things out, but I think he killed his dragon in order to take its power, because Venin, they take and take and take power. They don't just channel it, they take it. So he kills his dragon. He also destroys the Wardstone, so that's how the wards came down, because Jack destroyed it. And Jack has also been placing luring runes for the Venin around Basgiath. So a few of the Erishian crew have been trying to look for the runes and destroy them so that the Venin are not like lured towards Basgiath, but of course they can't find every single rune, so it's still going to happen. They're still going to arrive. And so where I'm at right now, the battle is about to happen, and we'll just see how it goes. I'm sure it's going to be so crazy and chaotic. I'm just preparing to get into that right now. And this is the first time I have gone to Google in order to like clarify things. I have been avoiding like Googling any questions I have towards the plot of this book because I am afraid of being spoiled as much as I want to, and as much as that would help me to understand like everything that's going on. I have been resisting because I'm like, I just don't want to get spoiled. I'd rather be like a little confused than Google something and get spoiled towards the plot, you know? So I've been resisting, but I figured with this question I had, it wasn't going to lead to a spoiler in any way, and it didn't, which is good. But I went to Google and asked, like, put in the question, why did Nolan decide to mend Jack and bring him back from the dead? Because that was something I was really confused by, because if Nolan and, you know, all of the teaching body at Basgiath had known that Jack was Venin, wouldn't they want him dead? So, like, why would they want to bring a Venin back to life? So I asked that, and a few forums said that Nolan had probably mended Jack in order to do experiments on him so that they could learn how to control the Venin and suppress their powers. And that makes sense. I don't know if that's something that's clarified later on, but that reasoning makes sense to me. That's probably why he was brought back from the dead and mended. I'm gonna go with that. The one thing though that I am confused by, and this is something that Xaden and Violet are also like confuddled by, is how was Jack able to live at Basgiath being a Venin when Venin are not supposed to be around the wards? Like, they are propelled by the wards. It could kill them. So how was Jack able to live at Basgiath while being Venin when Navarre is surrounded by wards? So I don't know if we're going to get an answer to that. I assume so. There's just a lot of things that need clarifying. Just so many things. So I am going to get back into this book. Hopefully we're past all like the slow parts, but I think I think the last 50 pages, this is where it's going to get crazy and like action packed. I just finished it and I have so much to say, but I'm gonna save that for tomorrow because I need to get my thoughts together. But oh my god, I don't understand how Xaden could be a Venin. Like, how did that happen? When How I'm actually like so confused on how that happened just because I'm really, really exhausted. I should not have even read the last few pages tonight because I'm like, what is happening right now? Like, I don't even, I can't even fathom what's happening because my mind is not all there, but all I know is that he is a venom. So I just need to ruminate on what just happened to get my thoughts together. So I'll be back later in the next clip and give you my full on thoughts about what I just read because I'm I have no words. I don't. So I'll see you when my head is a little more clear. So let's talk about the ending of Iron Flame because we got to talk about it. A lot happened. Well, a lot happened, but when I last updated, I had only like 50 pages left to read. So really, I'm just going to talk about the climax. So the Wyvern and the Venom, they invaded Navarre and a battle commenced. Like I mentioned earlier, the wards had failed. So Violet took it upon herself to use her power to activate the ward stone, which was a terrible idea because she was not powerful enough to activate it. She tried for so long, but she was getting weak. She could not do it on her own. And so, oh my god, another death happened. So her mother used Sloane, who is a siphon, to transfer her power into the ward stone. So what I believe happened is that Sloane took her power, because as a siphon she can take powers for herself, as she was touching the ward stone, and that made it to where double power entered the ward stone because it was going through Sloane from Violet's mom. And so with that amount of power it was able to activate the ward stone. But this is the thing, is that it took so much of Violet's mom's power that she perished, she died, and that was really sad. I feel like Violet's mom has always been a character that I didn't know what to think about her because she was one of the initiators of keeping the wards for Navarre to themselves. She would not allow helping all the other civilians outside of Navarre, so that left her with a bad taste in my mouth. For that reason, I didn't know what to think about her, but there has been times where she has softened up towards Violet, and she kind of changed her thinking towards the end about the way the system is working. So gradually she has been growing on me. But then she died. So I was glad she wasn't a character that was like high up on my list for a while. So that made her dying a little easier for me to take, but it's still sad because it is Violet's mom, and of course Violet and Myra and Brennan are distraught over their mother dying. Like, it was very, very sad. So that was terrible. And then obviously, like I mentioned in my last update, Xaden turned Venom, and I was shook. So the way that this happened is that Xaden was one-on-one battling it out with the Sage, and he was worried that after the Sage took down Xaden, that the Sage was going to go for Violet. And the only way he could have taken out the Sage is to become just as powerful as him. And so to protect Violet, Xaden was forced to conjure up power for himself, not take from his dragon. He was not channeling. He was doing what the Venom do and taking power like from the earth for himself. And in doing so, that was when he could take down the Sage. So, in that process of doing so, Xaden became a Venom. Against his will, he was not trying to become one, but he had to become one in order to stop the Sage from getting to Violet, which was very noble of him, but it's terrible because he has now become the thing that the rest of society is going after. And so now I'm just wondering what's going to happen in Onyx Storm. Is he going to be able to reverse becoming a Venom? When we read the last chapter, which is in his point of view, he goes to Jack, who is locked away, as he should be, and asks him, how do I reverse what I become? How do I take away the fact that I'm a Venom? How do I make this go away. And Jack, being Jack, is just like, you know, you can't stop it, you're one of us now. And that's exactly where it leaves off. So yeah, it left off on a huge cliffhanger. So yeah, I'm really wondering what's going to happen. How is Violet gonna deal with Xaden being a Venom? In the last chapter, after she found out, she was still like sleeping in his bed, so I assume she's kind of like okay with it for now. That transition was very weird. Like, is she okay with it because she's still sleeping with him? Like, I don't know what to think. I guess we'll get more answers in Onyx Storm. So yeah, I'm not okay. I'm worried. I don't know what's gonna happen with Xaden. So let's talk about the book overall. So I do have to say that Iron Flame was not as good as Fourth Wing for sure, and that's a little disappointing, but I find that the case with a lot of fantasy books, the sequels are always inferior to the first book. That's just the way it is with every single fantasy series I read. It's just the way it is. So I was kind of expecting that. Let's talk about the good things first. Of course, I love all these characters, including the side characters, and I loved watching them grow throughout this book. There was a lot of very intense moments in this book, a lot of scenes that had me on the edge of my seat wondering what was going to happen, and I still love the atmosphere of this world. I feel like we got to know a lot more about the dragon, and I specifically love the journey that we saw with Andarna, with her coming out of being a feathertail like a little kid to her growing. Love that as well. And those were some of the good things. For the bad, I feel like the plot did drag, and like I was mentioning earlier, I tried to be patient with the fact that the plot was going a little slow in the beginning, but it really started to drag towards the end, and I was not into that. I kind of started to space out a lot towards the end. I was just ready for the book to be over. I do think this book is too long. I don't think it should be over 600 pages like it is. It should be around like 400 pages like Fourth Wing was. I think Fourth Wing was at almost 500 pages, and I believe that Iron Flame should have had the same page count because there was just what felt like a lot of filler in this book, a lot of side quests that don't really have anything to do with the overarching plot that we get to with the conflict at the end. Also, Xaden and Violet's relationship started to get kind of annoying in this book. I kind of started to realize that at the end, they just went in so many circles where they couldn't trust each other, but at the same time, they were still like trying to be together and still said they love each other, but they're not being willing to be open with each other, and that was so freaking frustrating. I feel like there was a lot of kind of miscommunication with them where they just would not talk to each other or be open with each other when they should be, because you cannot be in love with someone if you're not willing to be open with them. And I'm glad that now Xaden is willing to be, like at the end of this book, a lot more open with Violet, but that openness should have been there in the beginning. And I know that this, like, keeping secrets with him contributes to more drama and angst in their relationship, but it just started to get annoying after a while. I just felt like they were just going in circles with keeping secrets from each other. It was just annoying. So yeah, that's my scattered review on this book. I will talk about Iron Flame more in my February wrap up, where I'll have all my thoughts written out so that I can be like more cohesive with telling you what I liked and didn't like about this book. But those are like the scattered thoughts version right there. So yeah, Iron Flame gets 4 stars. I liked it. It had its problems, but I did like it. I am going to get to Onyx Storm soon, but I made the decision to kind of take a break because I feel like I'm getting really overwhelmed with the amount of fantasy that I am reading in these books, and I just need a break from fantasy. I need a palate cleanser right now, so I really want to read more of like a contemporary book right now. But I will get back into this series like as soon as I can. I think I'm going to take a week and just take a break from it and then get back into it. And I'm really, really looking forward to starting Onyx Storm.